where things stand with the movement is this. The police department was very effective in removing the visual aspect of the movement. There's only a few of us left out here. They pretty well squeezed it to death. But that doesn't mean they eliminated us. We have just taken positions other than Zuccotti Park in houses, in buildings, in office spaces, and we are now planning, strategizing, creating tactics, raising money for the spring. And it's in fact, if anything, it's grown bigger. The publicity from dismantling, destroying the park has only added to the people that are interested, and has only added to the commitment of people that were here.
Where do you see this going, say, summertime or in a year or two? What do you think the future is?
I see the future as drastic change. People are awakening to the corruption of this government, and people all around the world are awakening to the corruption of their government. It's all about greed, corporate greed, and I see the worst things I see things getting worse in this country, by the way. They're bad now, they're going to get worse. And as they get worse, there's going to be more people that awaken and demand a change and get corporations out of government.
Who do you think are some people up there that can really bring about change?
I don't have the answer as to who I think can bring about change. Independent media, the internet, is absolutely critical to this movement. That's one thing that was lacking during the protests of the Vietnam War. We didn't have that. We had to depend on NBC, ABC, CBS, and we were dead in the water after our street protests stopped because of the fact that mainstream America was satisfied then. And they all had their jobs, they all had their health care, they all had their pensions, but we still knew it was a corrupt government, and that's why we ended up in Vietnam in the first place. And we wanted to make more changes back then. But, like I said, things were too good. Now things are not good for mainstream America, so we have a lot more people willing to listen to us and perhaps join us. And the independent media, the internet, is critical in getting the word out to these people.
Cool. I'm hoping that people higher above will take the message of doing the right thing.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. People higher up, I can't see how the 1%, they want to be looked up to, they want to be admired. I can't think of anybody who really doesn't want to be admired and looked up to, but they do it thinking that life is a game of Monopoly, and the more property they own, the more money they own, the more importance they're going to have. Whereas really, if you want to be admired, you do good for the people. You do good. You build hospitals, you create technology to help people, not to kill people. And subsequently, I would like to somehow contribute to the 1% if you really want to be recognized, if you really want to be powerful. It's all done in helping people, not destroying them.
Happy holidays, everybody, from Occupy Wall Street. We're trying to make a positive out of a negative. It was obviously a negative thing to scatter the movement, but we're trying to stick together. Now we meet over by 60 Wall Street and also at 56 Walker Street. We have spokes council meetings, and we've been able to do other things like occupy Bloomberg over by his house. So, you know, we're trying to spread out a little bit, but we'd still like to keep the space relatively occupied for protesters.
So say someone comes here, how would they get to the first spot you mentioned?
And what you do is you walk down the street to Wall Street, basically, and then you make a left, and you just walk down a block and a half, I think, and that's 60 Wall Street. It's a big atrium kind of thing. The other spot I mentioned was 56 Walker, and that's where they have spokes council meetings. Basically, everybody's divided up into working groups now, and the working groups like finance, legal, kitchen, they all have representatives, so they'll send 1 or 2 representatives to these spokes council meetings, and it's like a second GA almost, but it's more about the inner workings of OWS.
Now, how would I get there from here?
To get to 56 Walker, you walk down this way, the opposite way. It's a little bit of a walk down to Walker, and then you make a left to get to 56 Walker Street.
Basically, 2 things made me come out of retirement. I was retired for 8 years, moved up to the Catskill Mountains, and people were suffering here, and they were willing to suffer for social justice, and that moved me. The second thing is that I realized that I could have an impact. I saw where corporate media was marginalizing the demonstrators as those with pink hair, nose rings, facial tattoos, things that mainstream people could not relate to. And they were doing that very effectively. So I saw an opportunity for me to come down and sort of challenge corporate media as to marginalize me. and as yet they have been unable to do that.
Silent night, peaceful night, food for all, that's what's right. Warm, bright houses and medical care, clothes, employment, and good child care. Then we'll sleep in peace. Then we'll sleep in peace.
This Christmas season finds us a rather bewildered human race. We have neither peace within nor peace without. Everywhere, paralyzing fears harrow people by day and haunt them by night. Our world is sick with war. Everywhere we turn, we see its ominous possibilities. And yet, my friends, the Christmas hope for peace and goodwill toward all men can no longer be dismissed as a kind of pious dream of some utopia. If we don't have goodwill toward men in this world, we will destroy ourselves by the misuse of our own instruments and our own power. That first fire that we made! It was ignited across the world!
It was ignited across the world!
We're just getting better at tending this fire.
We're just getting better at tending this fire.
And then in the spring, it's gonna explode.
It's gonna explode!
Yeah, we fight.
Yeah, we fight!
Yeah, the struggle continues.
Yeah, the struggle continues!
But we do it with peace.
But we do it with peace!
Merry Occupied Christmas!
Merry Occupied Christmas!
God bless you, amen!
God bless you, amen!